This is Amy for Sports Centre. Thank you for joining us.
No worries.
It's been a busy weeks and months for Matchroom. Obviously, you were in America last week for the AJ conference. How did it go, do you feel?
Yeah, the fun never stops. You know, what a mad world we live in. Who would have thought a year ago we'd be sitting there with Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul on the top table about to have a face-off? But I think Jake Paul's realised what he's got himself in for. Fair play. But I think we'd all do it for the amount of money Jake Paul's getting. We'd have a go. I'm not sure how long I'd last. I think I'd last less than Jake Paul would last in there. But yeah, it's a mad world we live in. People want to see crazy stuff, and that's exactly what this is. Crazy.
What do you say to those people who are obviously giving AJ a bit of stick for taking it? He's at the back end of his career. Why wouldn't you take that sort of money? 100%.
Honestly, that won't go down well, and people go, "We're the fans," But it's like, put yourself in his position. You're going to make a truckload of money to do your job, a dangerous job, right, in an easy fight. And anyone else, someone says to you today, do you want to do your job, but you do it for a minute rather than 4 hours, and we're going to pay you X amount of money, and you go, no. I'd say you're mad.
Yeah, exactly.
Not everyone is driven by money, but 99.99999% of people would do things based on money. So, who cares is really my view.
No, exactly. We're saying AJ might be back out beginning of next year.
That's the plan, yeah, that's the plan. Keep him busy in 2026. He's obviously had a long time out of the ring, getting prepared to get back to this point. But yeah, 2026 is going to be a busy year for Anthony.
And he's moved from Ben now across to Team Usyk.
Yeah.
What do you think Team Usyk will give AJ, obviously apart from his huge experience?
Look, they've worked at the highest level of the sport. They operate with Alexander Usyk, who undoubtedly has got to be the pound-for-pound number one or up there in the sport of boxing for what he's done at both cruiserweight and heavyweight. He's obviously got a lot of natural talent, of course, but the work that goes on behind the scenes is so important too. And I think that's what I love about Anthony. He's someone who always wants to progress, always wants to learn and get better. And we shouldn't question people who want to improve in whatever field they're in. So yeah, I'm excited to see how he comes out from it. They're going to do a good job with him. He's training very hard. He's looking in great shape.
So obviously from America here to Birmingham, it's finally the debut for Matchroom for Ben Whittaker. How excited are you to him finally joining the team?
I can't wait. Look, we made a big play for Ben Whittaker because we truly believe as a team that he can be a global superstar of the sport, go all the way to the top, of this sport, and be a superstar outside of the ring as well. He's got all the attributes. He's charismatic. He's great in the ring. He's a showboater, but he's a brilliant fighter. And I think you're going to see so many improvements over the next year with him. And I'm excited about this journey starting. On Saturday night, he's got a real test with Gavazi. He's got to go in there and put on a big performance, and I'm very confident he will.
So what do you think Matchroom can do for Ben that Boxer perhaps couldn't?
Promote him properly. We have built superstars around the world now for many, many years. What we do as a business, not just in boxing, but across all the sports we're involved in. We're probably one of the biggest sports entertainment private companies in the world for what we do in delivering events. I think with Ben, it's an easy job, but the problem was they invested a lot of money in Ben at the time, but they then didn't have the backup, the money to get the right opponents, to build him in the right manner, to keep him active, to keep that momentum. That's where we will make a big investment. He'll fight in November. He's going to fight 3 times in 2026 as well. We're going to take him to the US. We're going to take him on a global tour. So there's so much we can do. And it's, like I say, it's an easy job. Easy job.
Yeah. Obviously, he's another fighter who gets a lot of grief for his showboating and things like that. But Andy Lee is adamant. He works incredibly hard. Do you think his inactivity Gavazi's a tough opponent for him, but it should be a fairly easy fight for him, do you think?
I think he's one of those fighters that, as he steps up in level, is going to show his skill. When you look back at his amateur pedigree and what he came through, he won an Olympic silver medal, wasn't happy with it, just to show you what kind of person he is. He wanted a gold medal there, and when they're in the amateurs, they're boxing the best fighters week after week after week after week. And he's come into the pro ranks, and I don't think he's really had the right opponents to build him up and build him through those ranks. And I think Gavazi's going to be a perfect guy who's going to be a tough fight, but you're going to see a better performance for Ben Whittaker because he knows he's got to go in there and deliver.
And obviously not just on this fight, there's loads of domestic titles on the line, loads of great British fights as well. What other fights are you looking forward to? We've got Cam Vong against Gwyn, the rematch as well. Great
rematch between those two. That fight, 364 days ago that was, that first one. It was a brilliant, very close fight the first time around. Many people thought Gavin Gwyn deserved to win. Credits Cameron Vong getting back in there and doing the fight again, because a lot of people would shy away from that, but not him. He believes he can be much better. Aaron Bowen as well, huge ticket seller, always in entertaining fights. Looking forward to seeing him back out. Ibrahim Spider Suleiman, Molly McCann in her second fight as well. Zelfa Barrett's back out, someone, a great guy, someone we've loved working with over the years, and Alfie Middlemiss. So it's a great card, top to bottom.
So next week, obviously, we've got this week. Moving on to next week, Monaco. That's another huge card as well. Romford Ball as well, coming back out. How excited are you for Monaco? It's a great event.
Best show we've ever done out there. When you look at the fight card from top to bottom, obviously Peter McGrail, Shabazz Massoud headlining that. It's been a long time coming, that fight. It's a great fight. Two of the best in Britain, and one of them's going to go on to challenge for a world title after this as well. As you say, Johnny Fisher back out. It'll be good to see him back in there. Hopefully a big knockout performance from him. We love to see big knockouts in Monaco as well. Beatrice Ferreira, Elif Turhan is a spectacular fight. Those two are going to go at it. Pat McCormack, Conor Walker, unbelievable. And Hugo Mikulev, Sean McComb. A load of those fights could be headlines in their own right. So it's going to be an entertaining night. Do not miss it.
And again, it doesn't stop for Matchroom. Back to America and Stockton as well for another huge night. Sky Nicholson back out as well.
Never stops. No, Diego Pacheco, Kevin Saggio is a great main event there. You got Joe Cordina as well in an eliminator against Flores. You got Sky Nicholson, as you say. Chev Clark's actually going to be back out on that card as well. Another huge night, and it doesn't stop. We come back and we go straight to London on the 17th of December. Giorgio Vizioli against Howarth is a great fight, a great undercard there. Layli Buttigieg, so many great fighters on that card. Then we go from there, Anthony Joshua chins Jake Paul in 9 seconds. Then we go to Ghana, and in Ghana you got a great light heavyweight fight between Craig Richards, Dan Aziz. You got Leo Atang, standout amateur star of ours, who's back out. You got Nishant Devs on there as well. Then we go to Riyadh for the Night of the Samurai show. So what an end to the year, December 27th. And then we can celebrate Christmas sometime after that.
You mentioned obviously Accra, you had a huge influence in bringing the fight to there. How important do you think it is bringing fights to Africa and what it will do for the country, and obviously Matchroom as well?
100%. It's something we've been working on for a long time. We want to, as the leading global boxing promoter, we want to be in all these key markets. And we've had great relationships with Legacy Rise, our local partners, and Sharaf out there to deliver a huge event. It's going to be 17,000 people there in Accra. And I can't wait to see the night that will be delivered. It's going to be great. Eddie's very upset that he's not going to make it across from Miami, but he'll be on a sunbed somewhere.
You mentioned obviously all these fights back to back. How do you keep yourself fit and healthy? Obviously you've got Kai on board.
Yeah.
Is that something you try and?
He's just walked in. Kai's walked in because he sort of stands over like this because he's like, you can't get away from him and you must train. So Kai keeps us fit. I don't know. It just becomes. It's easier being always on. I don't like breaks because once you have breaks, you go, it's quite nice, relaxing. So it's easier just being on this full hog of 14 weeks of madness and then have a couple of days and go, right, let's get back to the madness. You get used to it after a while, and it's the part of the job.
No, thank you so much for your time, Frank.
Worries.
Nice
Appreciate
to speak to you.
Lovely to
Thank
see
you.
Thanks very